Nicklaus Children's is proud to honor Vivian and JC Moss as the 2021-2022 inductees into the Ambassador M. Walters International Pediatric Hall of Fame. Over the years, their dedication, service, and support for children and families at Nicklaus Children's and throughout our community have been simply remarkable. Their story with Nicklaus Children's began 25 years ago when their newborn son, Sebastian, received life-saving care at our hospital.
Sebastian had complications at birth that led him to multi-organ failure, meaning his kidneys, his brain, his heart. He was critically ill, but he made it, in part through the medical care that he received, but he made it also because of the impact of his family on the care.
Sebastian was born and had difficulties right away, and we were highly concerned, and he had to be transported immediately after birth, and he was transported to Nicklaus Children's Hospital. That was an emergency decision. It had to move quickly, and after it happened, we started to inquire, well, are we at the best place? And it was just incredible how everybody that we reached out to said, you're in the best hands possible.
And our first encounter with Juan Carlos and Vivian was through prayer. They had given birth to their second child, which it was a very difficult delivery, and actually the prognosis was not very good. The doctors didn't think the baby was going to survive. And we got a phone call. Please, sisters, pray.
It's something you don't wish on anyone. It's just like the bottom drops out from underneath you, and you just grasp at whatever you can. In our case, it's our faith.
There was a level of humanity and a level of kindness from everyone around, rallying around that moment so that we could, hold them in our arms for the first time, and not knowing whether that might be the last time. And what was remarkable about it was, since that moment where, you had that touch and that love and those few seconds, his recovery was almost immediate and dramatic. So when you talk about the power of faith and the power of love and the kindness that comes, with that community that we have at Nicklaus Children's, it's part of the healing process. It's part of what a child and a family needs.
Our NICU today is like the most spectacular place. The fact that parents can be there with their child the way that parents can today, I think is just probably the most important thing, that human contact. They make miracles happen.
I honor them for who they are. I honor them for permitting such a difficult choice in which they show the character, the fortitude, the virtues that they have in their own hearts. They show it with the big cross they had to face. And with the way they faced it, I honor them. They faced it with courage, with faith, and with determination. And that built them to become pillars for the community, to become missionary for the children.
I have known them since they were teenagers. The thing that made me the closest to them is Sebastian. I never thought he was going to be able to make it, but knowing Juan Carlos and Vivian, the courage, the faith in God, and the kind of human beings they are, that child not only lived, but walked. It takes special people. It's incredible.
So Sebastian makes people better. And if it wasn't for the hospital, he wouldn't be here making the world a better place.
I'm so happy that they're getting honored. All the doctors would say to them that I was going to be here today. and they were fighting it, and they said that I was. And look at me, I'm just sitting here right now, just sitting here doing this for them. And I felt honored to do this today. Nicklaus Children's Hospital is one of the best children's hospitals in the country.
I've known JC and Vivian. I mean, our kids kind of grew up together. A lot of church social events, and we've just been friends for a very long time. Their constant pride in being associated with Nicklaus Children's Hospital is evident in every interaction that I've ever had with them and that I've seen them with other people. They live it, they breathe it, they are committed to it.
Probably the most prominent person in development of needs for the Children's Hospital. Juan Carlos and Vivian served the tenure of 4 CEOs. During that period, we were able to impact the well-being of children in South Florida, especially underprivileged children. JC was instrumental in the development of what we see now as urgent cares, the creation of preventive medicine in areas that were needed, the impact of the electronic medical records, development of telemedicine happened through his tenure. We benefited from his expertise and knowledge in business, in assisting the Children's Hospital. At a political level, he was able to bring the Children's Hospital issues to a state and federal level.
One of the many things that I've learned from JC is his patience. I think he's someone that he couples patience with being grateful very much. I think Vivian and JC have impacted this community in many ways over the years. Their participation in many things throughout the community over the years has been wonderful. Their love for the hospital is a wonderful example for many of us, and their commitment to it daily if they have to be, because that's how well they've loved this community and loved that hospital and are grateful for it.
You know, we're involved with many things around children and education and health and empowering people and feeding their self-esteem and those with disabilities. There are so many needs, but picking your spots and trying to be impactful is really what we've done and what we've done with the hospital.
MOS program is a very gifted group of kids, and we really do care about one another. You see personality, you see authenticity. You really feel like you're with the family.
The MOS Scholar program is something that started in 2007, and it really has set our academics apart from a lot of schools here in Dade County. It gives these boys a chance for internships, externships, college visitations, and it really opens a gateway for these students. A lot of these young men would have no way, shape, or form been able to do what the MOS program offers if it weren't for the MOS program. So the impact is really hard to measure. It's just unfathomable what these young men have been able to accomplish because of the MOS program and the schools they've been able to go to and what the jobs they've attained, and then obviously the generosity of them being alumni in the Brotherhood of Columbus and what they've given back to the school because of what they received through the MOS program. Sylvie Galvez-Cuesta, who is the director, has 400 in the program this year. So since 2007, you'd be talking thousands that have benefited from the generosity of the MOS family.
Thanks to the generosity of JC Moss and his entire family, I'm here today as the founder and CEO of McCumbie Group. We're an M&A advisory firm that's done over $1 billion of transaction value. And his continued support, not just through the scholarship, but through the years, has really allowed me to build my business and to reach my full potential. I have a deep level of appreciation and gratefulness both to JC and his family for not only their financial support, but also for them investing their time and energy into our success.
I was introduced to JC and we met, and he explained to me that he thought that a farm would be an incredible place where people with developmental disabilities
could partake in society by growing and providing food with their community. You know, I think it takes a lot of understanding and vision and leadership and bravery to kind of look around at your community, at your ecosystem, and say, you know, there's something missing here. It has taken an enormous amount of generosity and love, you know, from Vivian and JC to create this place. And thank you for letting me be a part of this idea and this dream.
It is a organic farm, so you don't use those nasty chemicals that you would see in a factory farms. It's great. There's a lot to learn here about the environment and an ecosystem, and how I learned about low-level plants and high-level plants and how they play a role in filtering the atmosphere. Thank you, JC, for all that you've done for people with disabilities. I know people with disabilities need to be supported, and I'm glad that you were there for them, like me, and I am very thankful for you for that. Thank you.
Those actions come from people that are not only philanthropists, but they are humanitarian. They are humanitarian first, philanthropist second.
Vivian and JC look beyond the borders of the community that they live in. They look to solve issues through this work, and that's touching people throughout the country. And if it is actually pushing other ninja philanthropists to get involved in their communities, and it is contagious. And that's where, I mean, they are changing the face of how we care for our children throughout the country because of their work.
How many children that we will never know have been touched by the life of Juan Carlos and Vivian?
It's really so humbling because the hospital has given so much to us. And not just 25 years ago with Sebastian, but watching the miracles, being inspired by the physicians and nurses and researchers and everybody at the hospital, having such a beautiful, you know, mission and vision on what we do of taking care of the most innocent within our community and or those that don't have access to care otherwise. The work that we do is unbelievable, and that's what I'm proudest of in my association with the hospital. There is no acceptable bad outcomes. There is always work for us to do. There is always a better place we can get to. And with the commitment and the passion and the caring nature of those that are in this institution, we will be better. We will make sure that those bad outcomes someday disappear.